Hello, hello, Sir David the Bard. I'm coming to you from Kangaroo City down here in Australia. And I just fed all the little kangaroos. I hate it when they throw food. That pisses me off because I have to clean it up. So anyway, you moms, you know what I'm talking about. And when you get a little kangaroo in the chair and they jump, you know, you got to put the seatbelt on them. Then the chair jumps. So I don't know. That's a video. I'm done with my Hyundai commercials. Okay, Hyundai paid me $18,000 to have one or two shows on that, and I took that money. You Mormons, see, I knew he was doing this for money. I got zero. Last two things I found. Okay, magic trunk. When you walk around to the back of the car, you don't put your foot under it. You just say, magic trunk, and the bastard opens. I don't know how they do this stuff. Then I found on the back windows, steel curtains. They're screens. They're down inside the window, and you just pull them up and hook them at the top. So if people are throwing water balloons at you, or they're throwing hand grenades or whatever, or they're trying to reach in and steal shit, they can't do it. So anyway, I wanted to do this video for a couple of reasons. One is for my own having my head straight and thinking straight, and I do that using you because you guys will make comments and they're just hilarious. Some of your comments, I just fall off the chair going, God damn, that's funny. That's some funny stuff. I think I'm a little bit unique. Don't start that. Just let me talk, okay? Anna, I want to show you my nuts before the show begins, okay? Everybody grab your nuts and a Coke. I think because I'm almost 70 years old, and because I'm bipolar, and because I have nothing to lose. I have nothing to lose. I can stay and do whatever I want. My income is absolutely 100% secured as long as the United States is an independent nation. So no one can touch me. And, you know, they chase me with cars, and they threaten me, they've spray painted my cars. The Mormons run out of shit to do, so they go find somebody else. I've been married 6 times. Now, not too many people in this world are married 6 times. I know that that is unique. I'm 70, that's unique. I can say what I want, that's somewhat unique. Most people have bosses and they have policies and procedures and situations where they cannot speak their minds. I can. It's a wonderful, wonderful feeling. And I realize how cherished that feeling is because the rest of you generally can't do that. You got to support your family, your kids, and when your boss says, you know, this or that, you just bow your head and say yes, just like in the Mormon church. Here's what I want to talk about, and I've talked about it before, but I'm gonna twist it just a little bit. I want to talk about affection and sex from my viewpoint. Now, I have a little bit of education. I have a master's from Tahlequah down there in Oklahoma in behavior science, and most of a master's again up at Springfield College in guidance and psychological services. And I've been in counseling and in residential treatment facilities my whole life. So there's not too many things that people could say or do sexually that would not only not arouse me, but I've heard it before. You know, this is Section B, page 8. Here's what I want to do, though. I want to give you a perspective because I know that there's a lot of people who have come to me at different times in my life and more lately that have the questions, but they're afraid. They're afraid to ask the questions. Well, what is it like to be married to 6 different women? Well, most guys, I don't know. I guess they're discreet and they're confidential. I'm neither one. I'm crude and rude. So anyway, I thought this might be helpful, not only for me, but for you out there that go, gee, should I stay with this man or this woman, or is this a good relationship, a bad relationship? Now, first of all, let me tell you at the very beginning, there's no right and wrong. This is a diversity of behaviors and desires and consequences that are unique to every man and every woman. I have found, and I hate to admit this, but it's true. When I was in counseling in Ojai, California, the lady had one of those light bars. And hell, that thing worked. Nothing else has worked in my life. Medicine worked pretty good, but the light bar, back and forth, and asking me questions, and it would move it from the left side to the right side of the brain, and pretty soon you could erase, you know, panic or guilt or bad feelings and have good feelings. It was fabulous. Well, anyway, the point of that is that it's individual, the affection and the needs and wants of each human being. Now, one of the problems that we have with young people is, I've got a 13-year-old out here, and she's noticing the boys, and the boys are noticing her, that we develop physically much quicker than we do mentally and emotionally. And our bodies are ready at 12 and 13-year-olds to go into full-time adult relationships. But there's no brain. The brain is like a pea. And you don't know the consequences. You don't know that you're going to get STDs. You don't know you're going to get pregnant. You don't know that you're going to end up with a baby and pay child support for the rest of your life. You don't know. And that's what the teenagers will always come to me and say, well, I didn't know. And goddamn, everybody told you. Well, I didn't remember. Well, everything. So anyway, my point is this. What's attractive to you and me is totally different. 100% different. I never saw so many ugly men get lucky at BYU because they were priesthood holders and they were elders and they went on a mission. God dang, they couldn't sneak up on a glass of water to get a drink. Beautiful girls go, I want a priesthood holder. I don't care if he has no nose and 4 ears. I don't care. I want to go to the celestial kingdom. And Hinckley told him that. Hinckley, the Hinkster, said to him, you don't have to be in love, just marry somebody. And when the prophet speaks, the conversation is over. So at BYU, you can get pretty lucky if you're ugly. And you can get pretty ugly if you're at BYU. But anyway, the same thing in the Philippines. There's not an ugly girl in the Philippines. I'm telling you, that marriage genes on an island is fabulous. Anyway, we start to get attracted to people. My first girlfriend, Trudy, was in 6th grade, Trudy. And she was a platinum blonde, blue eyes, and a little bit of a dyke. but I like dykes. Dykes have their positive edges. So anyway, she played tetherball. She was the tetherball champion of the world there at the school. And I kind of liked her and, followed her around and acted like a 6th grade boy. I didn't know what to do. Just, I wanted to do something, talk to her or whatever, but I didn't know. So, eventually we kind of got together and she was my girlfriend and Dick Clark was the big thing on TV playing teenage music. And I went over to her house one day and knocked on the door. I was going over to dance with her in the living room, and her parents weren't home. So she opens the door and she said, "Did you come over here to kiss me?" I go, what? Like, if I did, I'm in trouble, I gotta go. Or if I'm getting lucky, I don't know. She's just curious. How do you answer that question? That's like when the wife says, "Is my ass bigger than hers?" You always say, "No." So I didn't know what to say. So anyway, Trudy was my first girlfriend, and we used to be on the phone all night, talking about running away, getting on a railroad car, and all I could think of was her laying down in a railroad car under a blanket with me, where the train was going. It could be going to hell. I don't care. I'm just not going to get off until I'm done. And my parents took us to the beach a couple times there down in Malibu. And we were coming back one night. I told you this once. I told you I never repeat anything on a video. But I am right now. We were coming back from Malibu, Palisades Park down there in Southern California, and we had a DeSoto. DeSoto. It sounds like something out of a colostomy bag. But anyway, we were in a DeSoto station wagon that my dad had put a Pontiac engine in, like a 428 Pontiac engine with a 4-barrel, and oh my God, it was like a dragster. But anyway, Trudy and I were in the back under the blankets like it was cold. It was hot under the blankets. So anyway, you know, those were my first affection and first, you know, coming into, and you've all had that. You've all had your first girlfriend and your first boyfriend, and if you had to go back, now I did. I went back a couple of years later, looked her up. I wasn't interested at all. I didn't like her personality. How do you know? How do you know? So who attracts us and why they attract us is interesting. When I was doing a master's class, one of the things, David Buss, B-U-S-S, has done tremendous studies on attraction between males and females, and what attraction is and why. And a lot of it has to do with the face and the dynamics of the face and the geometric size and the equality of the face and whatever. But you know as well as I do, we like long hair, we like short hair, we like blondes, we like redheads, we like all kinds of different things, and different people match up. To some woman, a man that weighs 300 pounds protects her and keeps her in the shade. Other women, you know, if he's 300 pounds, he ain't buff. There's not too many buff 300-pound guys. She doesn't want him. Well, she doesn't when she's 21, 23, 28. But god dang, when she's 50, she may. You don't know. People change. People change. Now here's what I'm going to go into just a little bit, and I don't think anybody has ever done this. And I've done a lot of things nobody else has ever done, and that's why I live with consequences. My first wife, Janice, I met at BYU, and she's blonde, blue-eyed. Now I don't like blondes, and I don't like blue eyes. Why did I marry her? I was on the ballroom dance team, and I used to carry their towels. I never danced. I danced. Not very good. You know, I was third string. You know, 8 people had to be assassinated out on the dance floor before they go, Bard, you're in. I was never in. So anyway, I was on the dance team, and Janice, my first wife, was kind of skinny and blonde and blue-eyed and perky. Kind of a perky, but had kind of a flat personality. But I thought, well, she is the dance instructor's model. She danced with the dance instructor, and they were teaching us all the lessons. So she was, you know, she had high class. She was respected, and people thought, you know, she was a really good dancer, and she was a catch. Well, I caught her. 4 years later, I let her off the hook. 2 kids later. It just wasn't there. Now, I like to cuddle. Cuddle is a very important thing to me. Now, maybe it is to you or not. I don't really care. But I like to cuddle. And I like somebody at my side when I'm sleeping all the time. And I love to go in the living room and just lay down on the carpet and have maybe a pillow and a blanket and some cheese and some Coke, and just lay there and, well, sometimes I watch the TV. Most of the time I don't, but anyway, and there it is, the variety and the pace of your sex life. I had a sister once, and she used to have sex once a year. But she would scream until Halifax, Nova Scotia would call and say, stop the noise down there. Once a year. Now, I'm a person all the way through, oh God, from 12th grade or 12 years old through probably 55, 58, I had sex 3 times a day. I don't care if you believe that or not. I don't give a shit. There's no consequences to me, and I'm just telling you the truth. To me, I have high sexuality, but that is linked to a symptom of being bipolar. And so that was important to me in a relationship. In my sister's relationship, she didn't give a damn. There are some relationships where size matters. Other relationships, no size doesn't even matter. There are platonic relationships. As people age and as people become more experienced in life, sometimes they change their hopes, their wants, their desires. After that mother gets one or two kids under her belt, Mr. Father can go where he wants. Just don't take your paycheck. Sorry, girls, but that's the way you are. Dad doesn't take a back seat. I remember one of the kids was breastfeeding in bed with us, and I look over there, and the baby's sucking on my wife's breast, and I go, hey, that's mine. She goes, no. I said, well, there's two. Can I have the other? No. I have to save the other one, too. God dang. The baby's getting my sex life. Oh, well. So, those girls start to move more and more and more away from the husband, and they don't need sex. Now that they have those babies, their hormones change. Now, I'm speaking principle. You know that. I don't speak specifics. But generally, they start to move away. Well, now the husband is going, holy shit. I've worked here for 10 years. I've supported everybody. I've been in the mud and the blood and the beer, and I was there when the babies were born, and now I'm a piece of shit. I take the garbage out, I go to work, and before my paycheck can hit the bank, she's intercepted it. I have found this, and all I can speak from is my personal experience. I'm not speaking out of any books or any education. Attraction is very individualistic. And as people age and as people get fat, having babies, that attraction can alter in the spouse's image. They can go, well, that's not what, that's not the rodeo I paid tickets to. Well, okay. So a lot of us will shift and change and say, well, I'm going to be true and faithful, and he or she is a bum, or is way too fat, or let themselves go, or they decided to enter the porn industry, and I didn't think that was appropriate. Anyway, as time goes on, faces and people change. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this from the bottom of my crotch. I mean my heart. What am I thinking? Well, I'm not. Every relationship, and I'm going to speak man to woman because I'm only man. I like to be woman, but anyway, every relationship is unique to that couple. There are girls that don't want to be touched. There's girls that want to be touched. They want to be touched in certain places, not in other places. They come to the relationship with all kinds of prejudices, especially the Mormon girls, that this is nasty, this is dirty, I do this just to have a baby, there's no pleasure. They wouldn't know where their clit was if you showed them, with a microscope. And a lot of those Mormon girls, you needed microscopes. Anyway, every one of those girls are shaped differently. They move differently. And I'll tell you something, I'll tell you a secret. Here's a secret, okay? Being an old dance instructor, I can look out on any floor full of hundreds or thousands of dancers, and I can see whether the two people, the man and the woman, have had sex together, or I can see if the woman is sexually active, maybe not with her partner, but whether she is. She moves differently. Girls that have been in bed and have had sex and are experienced, they move like an angel. They move like an angel. The others fake it, and I can see the faking, and hopefully you didn't marry one of the fakers, but I'm telling you from the very beginning that they're shaped differently, they feel different, and when you're having intercourse and they want to talk about their calculus problems that they're having, I'm not into calculus, I'm really not, and they may not want to do the things you want to do, the trapeze. My first wife took that down after the kids fell on it, off of it. So you're going to have a lot of getting together on what's going to work and what's not going to work. I'm saying 5 years. I don't think you know that person sexually for at least 5 years. The way they move, the way they talk, the way they whimper, the way they scream, the way they laugh, the humor, the way they touch you, the way they express themselves. It takes 5 years, in my opinion, to really get to know a sexual partner. And I'm telling you, they're all as different as night and day. I'm telling you that from experience. From experience. From cheerleaders to, what was she? Borderline personality, Sandra. They're as different as day and night. They're shaped different inside and outside. Some of them know how to move. Some of them don't know how to move. Some of them like sex from behind. Some of them don't like it at all. Some of them, my first wife, she used to carry a towel to bed with a towel because it was dirty, and she didn't want any sperm on the bed. Well, I've had 8 or 9 beds pregnant. It's easy for an abortion on a bed. You just throw the mattress in the trash and it's gone. Anyway, they're very, very different. Well, that lasted 4 years, that first marriage, and I had 2 children from that. And I have to tell you, Janice, on a scale of 1 to 10, was about a 3. But I didn't know that. I was only 19, and I was a virgin. I thought, oh my God. But on the first night in the Hotel Utah, which is not there anymore, the building is, but the hotel isn't, we had our honeymoon there, and the lights went off. I thought that Free Willy had come in the room with snakes chasing him. And I got into bed, and this girl, she was crazy. She was jumping all over me and yelling. And I mean, when you have a girl that has been a Mormon for 20 years and has never had an orgasm, has never touched her vagina, and she has a weenie, oh my God, she went crazy. And I thought, I kind of like to hunt my dinner. I don't like the bears eating me. I like to, take the gun and walk and hunt. That's the way men are. Well, there wasn't much hunting there. I felt I was in the bear trap. So anyway, Janice and I, we moved on. And then I went back and married, I'm trying to think who I married. I can't remember the order. I can't remember the order. I think I went back and married Janet. Now, that was my high school sweetheart. Now, this is the Bard story, okay? The moment I laid eyes on that girl in 6th and 7th grade, I was more in love than I have ever been before or since that time. So don't tell me that you can't fall in love immediately, love at first sight, and puppy love. Yeah, there's puppy love, but there's also love that can be extrapolated out of puppy love, that it can be a real love. So she's my girlfriend in 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, and then she went on to the bikers, and I went on to BYU, and I was crazy about that girl. I was just, and I never, it stopped right now, a little bit in my old age. I can remember because I'm going back because I'm talking to you, but now I don't have an attraction to her. But those days were like heaven. This girl was experienced, and if I had to take a girl again, I'd take an experienced girl. The virgins, you can have all the virgins you want. You can have 71 if you're a Muslim. If you're a Mormon, you can have 171 in polygamy. Joseph Smith did. Anyway, Janet, so beautiful. Dang, to me, just magnificently sparkling all the time. She's a little depressive now and then, but I would tickle her when we had sex, and she wasn't depressed. This girl was fabulous. There wasn't anything she wouldn't do and enjoy sexually. And there's times I had a hard time going to work I'd rather just stay in bed all day with that girl. Well, that was 9 years. It never faded. It never changed. We had 4 or 5 kids, and she'd have sex in the car. God, I'd tell her to bow her head and say yes when she was sitting on my lap, and I'm driving. I mean, it's hard to look around a person like. Anyway, she was hot, very hot, and she was the kind of girl that when you walked in the room, every man noticed her, and that made me proud. That made me feel important. It embarrassed her, And she was a good little dancer. We danced really well together, and I enjoyed her very much in the marriage. And then she got tired of me, which I can't believe. How could anyone get tired of this? So anyway, she was shaped right, moved right, talked right, and oh my God, the fantasies that she would whisper in my ear, I can remember today. It was like the little devil sitting there going, David Bart. I'm, oh yeah. All the girls in high school, oh yeah. God dang. She was fabulous. She was really a fabulous little sex partner. And so then, I think I married, was it Jeannie? I think it was Jeannie. Now, Jeannie was a cheerleader in Oklahoma, and she was experienced. And Jeannie's, now Janet, I will give a 10 or 11 to. Now, Janet's got a 3, okay, sexually. Janet got an 11 or 12. Now comes Jeannie. Now, Jeannie is a cheerleader. She's short, cute as hell. Had beautiful green eyes and auburn hair that was all, curls and vivacious personality. And everyone liked Jeannie, and I liked Jeannie. After I got her as a wife, things kind of went downhill. She was a slob. I didn't know that. I should have known that, because when I dated her, I couldn't even get in her room. The door wouldn't even open. I thought, well, she's just having a bad day. Well, I had a bad 18 years. I laid under the sink with garbage disposal stuffed up, toilets stuffed up, and wearing the same clothes, for months and months. Anyway. Jeannie was a good sexual partner. She really was. And some of these girls, they certainly all orgasm very, very differently. And Janice, she was so ashamed and so embarrassed and whatever because she was a Mormon. She hated sex. She hated her body because the Mormon church had taught her to do that. And then suddenly trying to turn over the next day in a marriage to be sexual, not going to happen. And it never did. So she very seldom orgasmed. And of course in those days I was 19, so I didn't know an awful lot about women and how they work. And then Janice, oh my God, that girl would orgasm, and we had developed orgasming together. Now that's hard. It was for me, and it was for her. Maybe you guys, you do it all the time. I don't know. But I'm telling you, as close as I have been to the celestial kingdom was when me and that girl were having sex and we orgasmed together. Nothing mattered. We were one. And that feeling, as many times as I could produce it in that marriage, I did. And she and I slept in each other's arms for 9 years. 9 years. We slept in each other's arms every night, and we had sex 3 times every 24 hours. Every 24 hours for 9 years. That was a very close physical relationship. Now Jeannie, she was cute, she was fun, she's very vivacious and had a lot of personality, and she was good in bed. I would give Jeannie I don't know, maybe I'd give her an 8, 7 to 8 in bed, and she was closer and closer from Oklahoma, knowing what orgasms were, and she would, whatever, twice a week or something. And we had sex pretty much 3 times a day too. And she was pretty open about sex. Now, I should never say this, but I'm going to. I want to die saying everything I want to say. Now, when you go down on these girls, Some of them like that, and some of them don't. And how you go down on them, and when, and what you do down there has a lot to do whether they like it or not. Now I'm going to tell you something right now without naming any names. Jeannie, I'm married to a Filipino girl right now, and out of all the wives I've had, the Filipino girl is the cleanest wife I've ever had. These Filipino girls, man, they just wash all day long. Now the American girls, I get a little turned off. I don't know about you, but when I go down on an American girl and it smells like the bathroom and poo-poo, the bar goes back up. The bar don't stay down there. They go, when are you going to take a bath? Jesus. So, I'm not going to mention any names, but Jeannie does come to mind. So anyway, I'll give Jeannie a 7. 7 plus to an 8. She was good. She was good, and I enjoyed her sexually. Well, that lasted 18 years. Now, that's a long time. That's a damn long time to be married. And so we split up finally. We figured our interest had gone another way. Well, then I married Sandra. Oh, no, I married Carolyn. Carolyn. Now, I couldn't get any girl that was normal, okay? I could only get mentally ill girls. And they fell for me right away. I go into a mental hospital. Hey, me. Okay, you stand in line. So Carolyn was bipolar, and oh my God, she was as nutty as a fruitcake. She used to paint herself green. She walked around with a Bowie knife on her hip, and she thought the wolves were going to eat her at night. And she was tiny. She was probably 4'10" or 11. She was tiny, good little dancer, but crazy as hell. And sexually, she had been a prostitute, which I didn't know. I like experience, but too much experience goes way too far. And her and I really didn't have much of a sex life at all because, again, every girl is different, and it didn't feel good, it didn't look right, and she was shaped inside a little differently, and it was uncomfortable, and there was also some vaginal discharge. I'm thinking it might be an STD, but I never knew. Well, we only lasted 2 or 3 months together, but it was long enough for me to get her pregnant, and Rebecca, we have a 22 or 25-year-old daughter between us, little blonde, blue-eyed girl. Well, then I went and married Sandra. Now, there's the borderline personality. She was second in line at the mental institution. I went, well, Carolyn didn't work out, and I interviewed Sandra. I said, do you paint yourself green? She said, no. I said, do you wear a Bowie knife to bed? No. You're it. So up comes Sandra, and Sandra was a cutter. I didn't know that. I went in the bathroom one day, the baby had been born, Genevieve, and Sandra had cut her arms and her legs and standing in the shower, just bleeding all over the place. So she had some emotional problems, and I've never seen Jenny, never. After I divorced Sandra, I said, I would do anything to get the hell away from you. And she said, well, you just gave up your daughter. And I said, well, and so my Genevieve, she dances all over Southern California from what I understand. I don't know if she watches these videos or not, but Sandra and I had intercourse once. Once. So don't you young people tell me you don't get pregnant once. Once. And Genevieve was conceived. So that was kind of a different marriage. So I got out of that one. Then I married, I don't know, am I leaving out anybody? I should give them numbers. Well, then I married Mercy. Now, Mercy is the best wife I've had. The Philippines trained their girls to take care of men. And I don't mean in a slave-like way. I mean, they're concerned. They feed you and feed you and feed you. I just push this button. Say hamburger, hot dog, milk, 15 minutes later, it comes. She is the sweetest wife. They are a matriarchal society, so there's a little bit of conflict when they marry a man in America, because men are used to being patriarchal. Well, our household is patriarchal and matriarchal. They're very good mothers. They don't put up with any shit. They're very similar to the Chinese. In the Philippines, they pinch their kids and they hit them. I told her, when she comes here, you can't do that. That's abuse. And so we take cell phones away. We hammer cell phones. We dance on computers and break the screens. It's the only way you can discipline an American child. Well, Mercy has been wonderful as far as helping me get computers and medication. She checks on me all the time. Have you taken your meds, this and that? She has my car all cleaned and ready to go when I go to work, because she knows it's very hard for me to work because I'm bipolar. And I'll be sitting here and watching Criminal Minds. Well, sometimes I'm on Criminal Minds. But anyway, she'll come in and she'll, you want some nuts? I said, well, I've got some. I'll take it. And then she, you want some Rocky Road ice cream? Yeah. Put the nuts on the rice. I'm telling you, it has been a wonderful, wonderful marriage. Now, we've been married, 9 years now. And they're the cleanest wife. And they're conservative. Sexually, they're conservative. That's their Catholic background. Their whole island is Catholic. And Mercy has a wonderful sense of humor. We're laughing all the time. We love to go places together. She loves to travel. And she's easy to travel with. Oh, man. I drive and I'm treated like a king. I get egg salad sandwiches. I've got ham and cheese sandwich. I've got Oreo cookie. I got Coke. I got milk. She'll clean off my mess. I can drive 1,200 miles or 12 hours a day with Mercy in there, and she always has the cooler and has the ice in it. She's always prepared. You want some potato chips? Hell yes, give me some potato chips. And I just really love Mercy. She's been awful good to me. And we're 23 years difference. Mercy's only 40-something, and I'm almost 70. But it's a good fall, December, what do you call it? May, December relationship. I love her, she loves me. I have no weenie. She didn't care. Anyway, when you choose a mate and when you're dating, be careful. People's ideas and values change. Mercy married me as a Mormon in good standing, and 4 or 5 months after we got married, I started looking around and saying, this is a circus. A homie don't want to play in the circus, and so she's accepted me. I've accepted her. She continues to be an inactive Mormon. Comes from a very good family. Make sure you take a look at their family, because you are marrying the mother. You are marrying the mother-in-law of your sweetheart. And you better like that mother-in-law, or you're going to hate her kid. You're going to hate her kid over a period of time. So anyway, I'm going to leave with the Pele Ale. Oh God, hear the words of my mouth 3 times, the true order of prayer, and penalties of cutting my throat, cutting my heart out, cutting my gut out, and the name of the second token of the Melchizedek priesthood, the patriarchal grip, or sure sign of the nail, health in the navel, marrow in the bone, strength in the loins, and sinews, power in the priesthood, be upon me and upon my posterity through all generations of time and throughout all eternity. I am starting to greet people here in Utah. When they say, how are you? I say health in the navel. They just laugh their ass off. They just laugh and laugh. So anyway, hopefully the Bard can start a new greeting. When someone says, hi, how are you? You just say, health in the navel. This Bard's gone.